Crazy Sea Stories.
The Man on the Edge. The fog had been there for as long as anyone in town could remember. It rolled in at twilight, swallowing the cliffs and valleys until the world became a blurred canvas of gray and shadow. The locals had their legends about the fog, stories whispered over fires, muttered in half-joking tones in the tavern, or prayed away in trembling voices when it seeped too thick around their homes. But no one climbed the cliff after dark, except for Jonathan Hale. He stood at the edge now, a black silhouette against the pale glow of the moon that strained through the veil of mist. His coat flapped faintly in the wind, though the air itself was unnervingly still. From a distance, he looked like a statue, motionless, carved from the very rock itself. And perhaps in a way, he was frozen not by fear, but by fascination. For 3 nights in a row, Jonathan had been pulled back to this place. The first time he had seen it, the fog seemed to breathe. He swore it pulsed, expanding and contracting like the lungs of some immense, slumbering creature. Standing at the cliff's edge, he felt the ground vibrate faintly beneath his boots, like the heartbeat of something buried deep below. And then he heard the whisper. It wasn't loud. It wasn't even clear. Just a thin thread of sound, curling up from the abyss beneath the cliff. A voice that wasn't quite human, nor entirely alien. It spoke his name. Jonathan. He had stumbled back in shock, his pulse thundering in his ears. Yet despite the primal urge to run, something in that whisper clung to him. It wasn't calling him to flee. It was asking him to listen. That night, when he finally managed to sleep, he dreamt of the cliff. Only this time, he wasn't standing on it. He was falling. And as he fell through the endless fog, he felt cold, clammy hands reaching up from below, hundreds of them brushing against his skin, pulling him down deeper, deeper. He woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. But when morning came, the dream didn't feel like just a dream. The following evening, Jonathan tried to resist. He stayed inside, bolted the windows, and poured himself glass after glass of whiskey to drown the restless pull inside his mind. Yet when the grandfather clock struck midnight, he found himself standing in the mist once again, his coat hastily thrown over his shoulders, his boots crunching against frost-bitten grass. He didn't even remember leaving his house. This time, the fog was thicker, He could barely see his own hands stretched in front of him, but he could feel the cliff ahead, as if the earth itself were guiding him forward. And again, he heard the whisper. Closer now. Stronger. A chorus of voices layering over each other, like 100 people murmuring just out of sight. His name slipped from their phantom tongues, stretched and distorted. Jonathan. His breath trembled in his throat. Who's there? He called into the void. The voices paused. And then, laughter. Not joyous laughter. Not even cruel laughter. But hollow, empty laughter. Like bones clattering in the dark. Jonathan stumbled back, his heart hammering. But his feet wouldn't carry him away. They remained rooted to the ground as though the soil itself had risen to clutch his ankles. Then he saw it. For the first time, something moved in the fog. Not a person. Not an animal. Something that shifted unnaturally, slithering like smoke, folding and unfolding into shapes that should not exist. A head where no head should be, limbs bending the wrong way. Faces, yes, faces forming in the haze, only to dissolve again in silence. The fog wasn't hiding something. It was something. Jonathan ran that night. He tore himself from the cliff, sprinting until his lungs burned, the whispers chasing him all the way home. But the laughter never left his head. By the third night, Jonathan wasn't fighting it anymore. He knew he would return. There was no alcohol strong enough. No lock sturdy enough to keep him away. The whispers had embedded themselves inside him, coiling around his thoughts, drawing him back like a moth to flame. This time, when he reached the cliff, he didn't hesitate. He walked straight to the edge, stood tall against the pale glow of the hidden moon, and waited. The fog parted, just slightly, and he saw them. Figures standing in the mist below, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. All facing upward. All staring at him. Their eyes were pale, empty voids, reflecting the moonlight like dead glass. Some were clothed in rags, some in rotting finery. Others were naked, their flesh riddled with dark, festering wounds. They raised their arms in unison, beckoning. Jonathan's breath caught in his throat. What? What do you want from me? he whispered. The answer came not in words but in sensation. His bones ached, his veins burned, his mind twisted as visions poured into him, visions of others who had stood where he now stood. Men, women, children, all lured to the cliff across centuries. Each one drawn by the whispers. Each one stepping forward into the fog. The fog fed on them. It remembered them. And now, it wanted him. Jonathan's body moved without his consent. His foot slid forward, pressing against the loose stones at the edge of the cliff. The wind, or what he thought was wind, wrapped around him. But it was hands, cold, unseen hands, stroking his arms, urging him closer. He fought. God, he fought with every last shred of willpower, digging his nails into the cliff's edge until blood spilled from his fingertips. But his strength was nothing against the pull. He leaned forward. The fog opened beneath him like a mouth. And then he fell. The air rushed past his ears, but there was no sound. No scream left his throat. The fog swallowed all of it. He felt himself suspended, drifting downward as the pale faces rose to meet him. Their arms caught him gently, almost tenderly, pulling him into their embrace. And in that moment, he understood the truth. The cliff wasn't a place. It was a threshold. The fog wasn't a mist. It was a hunger. And Jonathan Hale wasn't the first to fall. He would not be the last. When the villagers climbed the cliffs days later, searching for him, they found no trace of Jonathan. Just his coat, neatly folded on the ground at the very edge. But some swore that on foggy nights when the moon bled faintly through the mist, they could see him standing there, motionless, watching. His silhouette etched against the sky. Not alive, not dead, something else. And if you listen closely when the fog drapes over the world, you might hear it too. The whisper, calling your name.
Crazy Sea Stories. If you like these stories, subscribe for more.
The Cat in the Ashes. I never wanted the damn house. When my Uncle Henry passed, the lawyer called me up out of nowhere, said the old man left me his estate. Estate, my ass. It was just a rotting farmhouse out by the tree line near Wren County, Iowa. I hadn't seen Uncle Henry since I was maybe 12. I remembered him as a wiry old bastard with yellow teeth and the smell of pipe tobacco stuck to his clothes. The lawyer told me I had to go sign some papers, maybe stay a night, check the property before transfer. It's in your best interest, he said. He didn't sound like he believed that himself. So I drove out there in my busted Chevy, through miles of empty fields, no cell signal half the time. The house came into view right before sunset. Gray wood, slanted porch, a few boards missing from the roof. Looked like it was holding its breath, waiting to fall apart. When I stepped inside, the air hit me like old dust and burnt oil. The floorboards creaked like they remembered footsteps that weren't mine. And then I saw it. Sitting by the cold fireplace, eyes gleaming gold like tiny lanterns. A cat. Didn't flinch when I walked in. Didn't meow. Just stared. Guess you came with the place, huh? I muttered. It blinked slow, like it understood. First night, I couldn't sleep. Wind rattled the shutters, and the damn cat wouldn't stop pacing at the foot of my bed. I tried to shoo it out, but every time I closed the door, I'd hear it scratching from the hallway. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to this sound, like a voice whispering under the floorboards. Couldn't make out words, just this low, dragging murmur like someone talking through water. I froze listening. The cat lifted its head, ears twitching, staring right at the floor. Then it looked at me. That was the first time I got that feeling. Like it wasn't just a cat, like it knew something I didn't. By morning, I was running on caffeine and nerves. Found an old diary on the kitchen counter, half burnt. Belonged to Uncle Henry. Most pages were smeared with ash, but I could read a few lines. It won't stay in the walls anymore. The cat watches. Fire keeps it back. The basement door was nailed shut. That was the first real red flag. The nails were black, like they'd been burned. I tried prying one out with a screwdriver and the metal hissed like it was hot. I jerked back, dropped the damn thing. That night I heard something moving down there. Slow scraping, dragging. The cat sat by the door, tail flicking side to side, its eyes reflecting the candlelight. I whispered, "What the hell is down there?" The floor creaked once, then silence. I swear I heard a whisper behind me. "Don't open it." When I spun around, nobody there. Just the cat, still watching. Next few days, the smell started. Faint at first, like burnt hair. Then stronger. I checked every room, every outlet, but nothing was on fire. Still, every night I'd wake up choking on the stench. The cat stopped eating. It just sat by the window, staring into the cornfield. One night, I followed its gaze. Out there in the dark, something was moving between the stalks. Tall, black, shifting wrong like smoke trying to remember how to walk. And then I heard that whisper again. This time clearer, almost human. Feed it fire. I found the jar in the attic. Waxed shut, wrapped in cloth, stinking of kerosene. Inside was something red. Could have been candle wax, could have been something else. I didn't want to know. There was another note from Henry taped to the rafters. If it gets out, burn it all. That night I dreamed of the cat, standing on my chest, whispering in a voice that wasn't a voice. It's hungry again. When I woke, there was soot on my hands. I couldn't take it anymore. I ripped the nails out of the basement door. The wood groaned like it didn't want to let go. The air that came out was cold, wet. I went down with a flashlight, the cat padding behind me. There were burn marks all over the concrete floor, circles, symbols, and a pile of ash in the middle. The beam of my light shook. I swear the ash was moving, breathing. Then the cat hissed, low and guttural, a sound I didn't know cats could make. Something started rising from the ashes. A black, smoky shape with bones showing through. A smell like roasted meat filled the air. I ran. I didn't stop till I was outside. But when I turned, the windows of the farmhouse were glowing red. I tried to drive. The truck wouldn't start. The fields were whispering, I swear to God, whispering my name. When I looked back, the house was on fire. The cat was sitting in the doorway, calm as ever, flame reflecting in its eyes. I yelled for it to run. It didn't move. Then I saw the shape behind it. Tall, crawling out of the flames, black and grinning through a face made of ash. The cat looked at me once. Then it stepped back into the fire. They found me 3 days later, wandering the road, half burned and babbling about the cat. No one believed a damn word. The farmhouse was nothing but cinders. They said no animal bodies were found. But last night I heard scratching at my motel door. And this morning when I woke up, there was a single paw print in the ash on my nightstand. Still warm.
Crazy Sea Stories. If you like these stories, subscribe for more.